How's it going, everyone? I'm back with another video. Today, to give you a general idea what we're going to be doing, I'm going to move these cows here first thing this morning on this nice green grass and go ahead and feed the cows for the next few weeks. And then I'm going to go scout the fields that I had some problems with the growth, the hay fields. I did figure out most of the issues with them fields, and I was going to share with you guys what went wrong and why my growth wasn't there. And then I'm going to run the vertical tillage tool and then replant some alfalfa. Boy, are they hungry. So typically it's not too hard. They're gonna find their way across, and then I just have to move the mineral feeder. Boy, aren't they excited. Now the calves, they're always the hard ones to move. I don't know what it is about them, but they always find a hard time finding the gates and all the openings, and it's just the way it is. There we go. And look at these calves. They just walk right past the opening. Now we're gonna think I'm chasing them. You know, I don't get it. They watch their friends go right through the opening. So I'm just gonna leave them alone and let them find the entrance themselves. They're gonna eventually want mom's milk, and they're gonna wanna try to go over to mom. So I'm just gonna go ahead and move the mineral feeder real quick. This is the first field I'm going to show you today. This is the field that I broke the disc in. So this field, I did disc up. It was supposed to be an alfalfa orchard grass mix, and the alfalfa wasn't really there, and it was a waste. But I think it's going to be dry enough to replant this field today. But before I do that, I'm going to run a vertical tillage machine called the Accelerator through here, and one last time to help knock some of these weeds down. And the vertical tillage ain't going to do a good job knocking the weeds out, but it'll do a decent enough job for today. And another thing it's going to do is it's going to help mix this lime in. All these little white particles here is lime. I had lime put down to raise the pH levels up. Hopefully it'll allow this new planted alfalfa to grow up properly, so I don't have to replant anything next spring. So this field here is the 30-acre field that's supposed to be a alfalfa grass mix. Same as the field I just showed you up there, but this field seems revivable, and I'm glad to say that. I had some guys come out here to look at this field, or to look at all my hay fields, try to give me some advice to try to figure out what went wrong and why stuff ain't growing like it should be. And we're not quite too sure on this field. Besides, we think it's a reason. It has something to do with the oats that I planted as a nourishment crop kind of outgrew the alfalfa and allowed the alfalfa not to get any sunlight to get a good growth. And then of course I cut the oats off and the weeds outgrew it again. So I cut this field last week, and it's already, the alfalfa's already coming up. And I'm actually seeing some orchard grass out here, and I'm pretty thankful for that. Now, something else that might have affected the growth a little bit was we did have a late freeze back last spring, and it might have stunned the alfalfa growth. We're not quite too sure if that was the reason or not, but it's a possibility. Now, there is some bare spots that do need replanted or spot planted, like this spot right here. I'm not too sure what it was, whether this spot was just a wet spot when I planted it, but I'd much rather spot plant this field instead of ripping it up. Now, when I had some people scout this field, they did point out that there's moss growing in the field in some spots, and they told me that it's a sign of low pH levels. So I put lime down in this field as well to try to raise the pH levels back up. And this moss seems to be dying now since I cut the field, and it's got some sunlight on it. The moss seems to be dying out, which is a good thing because it leaves more space for the other plants to grow. Now, this field here is the grass field I have, and in one of my previous videos I mentioned that I might have to tear this field up and replant it, but I was told that this is an extremely good stand, and that the bare dirt shown here is okay. Apparently, you want the grass, you don't want much cover, as in stem wise. You want the leaves to branch out, because the leaf is the soft part of the plant. So the more leaves you have in the field, the softer it is for the livestock to eat the plant. He said if this ground was completely covered and no bare dirt showing, like a lawn, he says that the hay would be really stemmy. So a little bare dirt is fine because it allows more leaves to grow up, and it makes it easier for the livestock to eat. I'm trying not to bore you guys too much, but this is the last field I'm going to get into before we get to the fun stuff for today. But this is the clover and grass field that I did, and I was told that this is a really good stand for this type of grass mix. The reason why it's not growing like it should and not yielding like it should is a bit of a mystery. The best guess is the weather. I mean, the fertility's right, the pH levels are right. So we'll just wait and see how it does next year, and if we have the same problem with this field next year, then I'll have to look into doing something about this field. Well, unfortunately, I decided to end today's video right here. This is gonna be a two-part video. The video that has all the juicy stuff will be in the next video. So it's gonna be really interesting. I hope you guys follow along. And if you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like and comment down below. And here's a little sneak peek on what to expect in the next video called A Busy Day on the Farm.